我覺得係由我18年前嚟呢一個。
So since 18 years ago, my first participation of the Udane Film Festival, I must say today you can see a very mature, ripe film festival compared to that time. You can notice that the audience are really educated and more informed about Asian films, and as the festival, it become a real festival of the city for Udane. It's a destination for everybody to come and visit. From the quality and the caliber and the mix of the festival guests coming here, and it's also more expanded. It was used to be a smaller guest participation, and now you see everybody from around from Asia. There are more countries participation, more filmmakers, more directors, and more actors. And I applaud Udane Film Festival for making Asian film as their focus, and they stay focused on this mission and haven't changed course all this year, and it become a real dedicated film festival for Asian film. I see also there's a potential for Udane to further development from their festival statue if they include a market component into their film festival. And I think it will make Udane Film Festival to reach another level or another milestone of their festival future.
烏甸尼斯電影節對我嚟講係一個好大嘅鼓舞嘅。我第一次嚟係
Coming to the film festival for me is a personal journey for my own career development. I came the first time just to tag along because under invitation of Mr. To in 2000, and at that time Mr. To's movie was shown was Mission, and he was just a script writer. And then I come back the second time on 2007, and this time is 2016, right? Yes. Trevisa, I am on now the producer. So you can see I'm escalating at the same time Udane Film Festival is escalating. And so I'm very touched, and I feel encouraged and inspiring every time I'm here.
鮮浪潮而家咧係由
This is the 11th edition of the Fresh Wave. We are now actually, eventually the Fresh Wave will turn into an independent incorporated company. It's no longer totally a government project, funded project, but it's still, the government involvement is still there, but eventually it might go private in a certain sense. But it's still very early stage of this changing. But the direction remain the same, is to encourage and nurture new filmmakers based on interesting subject matter or content or creative idea, and to try them to find finance to help them to make main feature film. So it will, the founding member, the committee of the Fresh Wave is still determining the next phase, exactly the policy or regulations. But immediately they will continue with the short film competition. They will still continue making some short films. But whenever there are good projects, interesting topics to be turned into a feature length, it is still the goal to help them to materialize all those projects into feature film.
其實鮮浪潮
I'm not totally involved with Fresh Wave in a lot of way, but I was one of their mentors during the process, helping some of the contentees participating in the competition of the short film. I was one of their mentors. I really believe that Fresh Wave has create a cradle of talents breeding talents of filmmaking, and it's a good place or platform for talents to be breeded and cultivated and eventually turn into the real industry, become a real professional. So it is always good to have more filmmakers with talents to be in the industry, and talents will create and make the film industry bigger and better in the future.
呢個係一個即係其中一個例子啊。當然
So
我
as you
哋
said, Trevisa is an example of the byproduct of this concept of the project of creating new talents and new filmmakers. So in our opinion, every director that involved with Fresh Wave, they cannot fail. And we do not want them to fail. And we want to make sure it's guided well with the right framework, so that, because if they succeed, there will be more new filmmakers and more future and potential for everybody.
其實得獎嘅大部分都喺得獎嘅。
So the selection process is the first phase of selection. We filter, we look at the directors through the Fresh Wave competition that actually got awards. So they are the front runners, and they got words that prove that they are award-winning works. So that's the first phase. Maybe it's not fair, but on the other hand, we have to be responsible to the investors. And what can the investor go by is to see that they are they already proven themselves to a certain stage. So that's the first step. If they cannot even make that stage, they cannot even be selected. So that is the selection process.
第二個問題就係話，如果
So in a way, Trevisa is not actually just a byproduct of the Fresh Wave, because I should say it's one of the methods, that new methods that we now develop to making a movie. Because it originated an idea from me with some protagonist that I want to portray in the movie. And I assigned this idea to the 3 finals chosen directors. And so it's almost like in the primary school, I was the teacher, I gave the title of the composition, and all the students have to go home and write the essay. So they each have to do their homework. So my biggest involvement in this whole project is, number 1, I gave them a composition title. Number 2, I go out and find money for them to actualize the product, the filmmaking. Number 3, we work out the casting, because so that's the main 3 roles that I play. As a producing company, as a producer, we also hold the final gate decision of the final cut. Because each director, they make their own film, they have their own editing idea, they all do it, but they don't know what happened to the other 2 directors. What do they do? How do they do it? So we have the big picture. We have the back picture. So as the producer, we have that decision. And it was our power to make the final cut. However, the whole production, from cameraman, from after all this, the cameraman work, the day-to-day production, correction of errors, going back and forth, all those day-to-day production, implementation of this final making of this movie is producer Nai-hoi. This work.
咁杜生有個咁嘅
Using the
concept
same allergy of the primary school teacher. So Mr. To is the teacher, and I was the captain, the prefect of the classroom. So I played the role of supervising them, pushing them, give them their idea and how to actualize and write the best essay. I want them to search, do more research. I want them to realize, to find a way, the path to realize from a concept to actually put into the writing and put on the screen. So I am almost like their torturer. I've been torturing them for almost 5 years. So, I really just want them to encourage them, each of them, develop their own voice and give their creative voice in their own project.
好係呢個係即係最
The
相
most
最相
mind-boggling is the editing process of this project. It takes a total year, 1 year to finish it. 1 year. The editing of this, and Yao was very involved and worked closely with the editor. And of course, the credit totally go to David Richardson. You see him on the credit rolls. He's from Canada originally, and he's an editor that has worked with many Johnnie To's old projects for the last 10 plus years. So he really understands his creative way of doing things, how it angle. So the process it work is Nai-hoi and David Richardson will go back to the editing room, cut many versions. And every time they show him a version, he will look at it, and then he gave his opinion, and then they go back to the cutting room again and edit again. So that's why it's been back and forth, and it's a 1 year before it's finished.